The American Fire Service, we're cowboys. These are brave, courageous guys and gals. They run into situations that other people are running away from. We have to make it happen. We have to make it work. We have to be able to adapt. That's the spirit of the fire service, is that we don't let anything hold us down.
Let's go ahead and roll cameras. Roll audio.
I'm Anthony Chapman. I work in Southern California, San Diego County. I started in EMS in 1994, and I moved over to the fire department in 2001. On May 20th, 2014, it was a day that changed everything. Not just my firefighting career, but it changed my life. And the profound effect that it had on my family, I could have never planned for. I could have never planned for. It was during the daytime that the fire came in, and sometimes you're thinking, oh, maybe this is food on the stove, or maybe this is a backyard barbecue. Well, I remember thinking this is a real fire, because there were multiple calls, and I remember telling my guys, okay, here we go. And I felt a little giddy and I was excited. I thought I might actually get a hose line today. And that's the last thing I remember. The firefighter that was working right next to me, he was shoulder to shoulder with me. So I have his account of what happened. He said that he heard a god-awful crash. And what that noise ended up being was a rubbish hook that hit me in the head. It traveled down, it grabbed the brim of that traditional helmet and it yanked my head sideways. So I had a brain injury, a broken neck, a multitude of back injuries, and a separated shoulder. And the helmet that I was wearing did in fact save my life, but it also contributed to worsening some of my injuries. My speech was affected, according to my wife. She said the light in your eyes was gone. And she said that light in your eyes didn't come back for a couple of years. After the injury, it was very clear that I needed something that was going to protect my head better, that wasn't going to get hung up on the things that a traditional helmet gets hung up on. And traditional helmets get hung up on everything. The helmet that I was looking at was a European style helmet that actually protects 2/3 of your head because it wraps around the back, and all your vital signs are actually in the back. They're in the medulla, which is in the back of your head. And most helmets don't even cover or protect that part of your head. No one could debate whether this would get me or anybody wearing it home to their families if the same situation that happened to me had occurred again. However, they just didn't like it because of the looks. And honestly, it was a tough transition for me. I thought I looked like a Power Ranger, and I knew it was gonna be different and odd, and I was eager to put this thing to the test. I wanted to see, how is this thing gonna perform? How's it gonna function? Is it really gonna be better for me? And it didn't take long before I realized, yes, it is. It's comfortable, center of gravity's right, your head is completely protected. Everything from drill burns to structure fires to rescue vehicle accidents. I could stick my head in a vehicle and I don't have to take the helmet off to get my head in there. The other thing too is it is resilient. This helmet is tough. I've cooked this thing and it cleans up every time. It's easy to take apart and clean, easy to put back together, and I've never had a helmet that looked this good after the kind of beating I've put this through over the last 3 years. The fire service is loaded with traditions, and some traditions we should hold sacred. But wearing a traditional helmet because it makes you look like a firefighter isn't the answer. Let's wear what's going to bring us home to our families. And as a captain, that is my job. That's my first job, to make sure my guys get home to their families. And boy, we give it all to try and save the people that we can save. Sometimes, unfortunately, people and property is already lost. But what I can't do is take my guys into a situation that they don't come home from. We all know what we sign up for. I knew that the day could come that I might not make it home. But what you don't account for is for the things that almost kill you, that fall somewhere in between. And that's one thing that I learned through this is, man, if I could have just been wearing a different helmet that day, I may have still been injured, but I feel confident that my injuries would have been significantly reduced. I feel like this has all happened for a reason. And that reason is because my next calling is to look out for the safety and welfare of firefighters. You know, if one day I look up at a crew working on an incident and they're all wearing, you know, a European style helmet, and I'm pretty partial to this Rosenbauer one. If I looked up and I saw everybody in that helmet, it would warm my heart. It really would. It would make my journey. It would, boy, it'd kind of make it worth it. It really would. So.